Welcome student on another video lecture. Today's topic is section 4 of Guidelines for Good Agriculture and Collection Practices. That section 4 is dealing with common technical aspects of good agriculture and collection practices. In that first point is inspection and sorting. Whatever the herbal raw material which is undergoing processing, that should be inspected and sorted for foreign matter, cross contamination and organoleptic characters prior to primary processing. So it should be inspected for foreign matter, any other material apart from the drug that should be removed. Any other cross contamination, any other herbal raw material is mixed with that product, that should be removed, and the proper raw material should be sorted. In case of inspection and sorting, also the identification of that herbal raw material, it should be done based on organoleptic characters such as wavy root of Raulfia, yellow color of turmeric, taste of cinnamon, smell of cardamom. From that we can identify the drug. So in this way we have to inspect and sort out the proper raw material based on its organoleptic characters. Second is primary processing. Harvested or collected raw medicinal plant material prior to processing should be protected from rain, moisture and other conditions that might cause deterioration. So primary processing, whatever the harvested raw material is there, that should be undergoing primary processing. Before primary processing, it should be protected from rain, moisture and other conditions which will cause its deterioration. Primary processing generally includes cleaning, garbling, washing, drying and freezing of herbal raw material. So the processing area where all these activities are going on, that should be clean, aerated and it should provide protection from insect, rodents and other animals. Also the equipments which are used for primary processing, that should be clean, regularly serviced and maintain its cleanliness and quality. All the processing material should be inspected and the substandard quality of material, that should be removed. So in primary processing, the important step is drying. The medicinal plants that can be dried in number of ways. First one is shaded or direct sunlight. Those raw material which can withstand higher temperature or temperature of sunlight, they can directly dried in sunlight, or those which will deteriorate on exposure to sunlight, such raw materials they are dried by shade drying method. In both these method, the raw material should be spread over large surface area and it should be turned or tossed continuously for uniform drying, and after that it is collected. Second is in drying ovens and rooms. In case of ovens, the raw material should be spread over the racks and the proper temperature and time condition as per the nature and type of herbal raw material, it is selected and it is dried. Next one is solar dryers. In case of solar dryers, sun heat or sun energy is used for drying herbal raw material. These solar dryers are of two types. First one is direct and second one is indirect. In case of direct, the herbal raw material is spread or placed over the rock and the raw material is dried directly by sun heat or energy. the cold air is circulated or enter through the inlet, and hot air is removed from the outlet. The sun rays are spread over the glass and it is absorbed by that, and the air becomes hot, and the hot air will circulated over the material and the moisture is removed. That moisture or hot air is removed through the outlet. In this way it is heated in case of direct heating. Second one is indirect dryers. In case of indirect dryers, a black surface is heated. Now the hot air from that black surface is transferred to the material which is spread, and the hot air is circulated over the material and it will remove the moisture. That is indirect heating. Next one is indirect fire. In case of indirect fire, there is a heat exchangers are there, and these heat exchangers, they will transfer the heat to the secondary, they will transfer the heat to the secondary medium. That secondary medium will absorb the hot gas, and now that secondary medium, it is spread over the material and it will remove the moisture from that material, and that moisture is removed in the form of vapors, and these vapors are removed through the vapor outlet in case of indirect fire. Next one is baking. Baking is just like place the raw material in oven and the hot dry air is circulated over it. The surface air or surface temperature will penetrate in the center and it will elevate the temperature, and due to elevation of temperature, whatever the moisture which is present in the herbal raw material, that will get removed in case of baking. Lyophilization, it is also known as freeze drying process, and that remove the water from frozen material by under the vacuum. Vacuum is applied, and due to the application of vacuum, whatever the water content which is present in the frozen material, that is removed by lyophilization. This technique is used for those materials which are heat sensitive, they cannot withstand at higher temperature of heating. In that case, lyophilization method is used for drying. Next one is microwave drying. So all these are the different methods by which the drying of herbal raw material is done. Now after primary processing, specific processing or secondary processing, that includes pre-selection, peeling skin of roots and rhizome, boiling in water, steaming, soaking, pickling, distillation, fumigation, roasting, natural fermentation, treatment with lime, and chopping. Processing procedures involve the formation of certain shapes, also have impact on the quality of medicinal plant material. So whenever specific processing is there, it is depend upon the nature and type of part of plant as well as nature and type of drug also. According to the nature and type of drug, to improve its quality, there are different specific processing materials, processing procedures are there, and these procedures are applied according to the nature and type of material. For example, in case of roots and rhizome, peeling of skin is done, hairs are cut from the rhizomes and roots. So all these processes are done according to the type and nature of plant material as well as which type of herbal raw material is there, according to need of that herbal raw material, to improve its quality and to increase the life of that herbal raw material. All the specific processings are done. Certain shapes are produced. For example, it is not possible to store the herbal drug in the form of bark that is collected from the trees, or the long size roots and rhizomes, so we have to cut into small pieces, so certain shapes are produced. For example, certain pieces are produced, slices are produced, and this will helpful for storing also, and it will maintain its quality. After that, next one is processing facilities. The facilities should preferably located in areas that are free from objectionable odor, smoke, dust or other contaminants, are not subject flooding. Roadways should not be near vicinity. Building ceilings, floor should be clean. Sufficient lighting, ventilation, water supply should be maintained. So the facilities or the area where all the processings are done, that should be free from odor, smoke or dust or other contaminants, otherwise the herbal raw material will get contaminated. Also that area should not be prone to flooding, as well as the roadways should not near the vicinity, because if the roadways are there, vehicles are going continuously and it will produce the smoke, it will produce dust, it will produce harmful gases such as carbon monoxide, and that will cause deterioration or contamination of herbal raw material. For that reason, it should not be near the roadways. The buildings and ceilings, that should be clean, floor should be clean, sufficient lighting should be there, ventilation should be there to prevent from moisture, otherwise it will contaminate the product if proper ventilation is not there due to moisture. Because when we are dealing with the herbal raw material, they are very sensitive to moisture or humidity. If there is moisture or humidity, it will deteriorate the product due to microbial contamination also. For that reason, proper ventilation should be there, water supply should be maintained in that particular area. Now next one is section 5. Section other relevant issues. Section 5 is deal with other relevant issue, that includes ethical and legal consideration. First point is ethical and legal consideration must be carried out in accordance with legal and environmental requirements. All the procedures from cultivation, collection, processing, manufacturing, that should be done according to the ethics and legal consideration. Whatever the legal requirement is there, legal formalities are there, that should be completed before doing any work with this medicinal or herbal raw material or product, and proper care should be taken that it will not contaminate the environment, it will not cause any it will not cause any disturbances to the peoples who are living in that particular area. So they will not disturb with the sound pollution, or drainage facilities proper should be there. It will not pollute the air of that area, it will not pollute the water in that particular area, it will not cause any harm to the environment, it will not cause any imbalance to the environment. Proper care should be taken. Whatever the ethics or legal requirement which are required for that particular procedure or particular activity, all should be taken as per the ethics and legal consideration should be done. The provision of Convention on Biological Diversity must be respected. Second is intellectual property rights and benefit sharing. Agreements on return of immediate and long-term benefits and compensation for use of source plant medicinal plant material must be discussed. So intellectual property rights of the person who is involved in complete procedure, whoever the person who is involved in complete procedure and doing some research activity or some doing some inventions, that the benefits must be given to that person, or whatever the intellectual property rights are there, these intellectual property rights of that person should be preserved. For that, proper agreement should be done, so that immediate as well as long term benefits are enjoyed by that person, as well as compensation for the use of source plant material should be discussed, and it should be concluded, and all these agreements should be done in writing prior to collection and cultivation. Before going to the process of cultivation and collection, all the agreements should be done, all the issues should be discussed, it should be concluded, and it should be in the form of writing. Now, threatened and endangered species, whatever the species which are in endangered, that species should be preserved, and the medicinal effect of that species should be benefited to the society. For that reason, the medicinal plants that are protected by national and international laws, such as those listed in national red list, must be collected only by relevant permission according to national and international laws. There are national and international laws for these endangered species, and the red list is prepared for that, and those plants which are under that red list, and someone is going under the cultivation, collection or manufacturing of any herbal preparation of these herbal raw material, before going to the collection of that herbal raw material, that should be that person should take permission according to the law, national and international law. The permission should be taken by the person before collection of that particular species. Next one is research need. A national or regional inventory of medicinal plant must facilitate the identification of medicinal plant used by communities, outline their distribution, and assess their abundance. So, a national or regional inventory of medicinal plant may facilitate the identification of plant. Whatever the inventory team is there or invention is done, the proper identification of medicinal plant is done, and if it is also endangered plant, that also taken into consideration by the communities who are using that medicinal plant, for which purpose they are using, that should be find out, outline its distribution, where it is distributed, that distribution of that particular species should be find out, assess their abundance, how much amount it is available, that should be find out. It can also used as a tool in tackling question concerning intellectual property right issue. Also, whenever there is research, whenever there is invention, whenever there is find any method or any standard operating procedure, the intellectual property right of that person should be preserved. For that reason, whatever the questions or issues which are relating to intellectual property right, that should be taken into consideration in this point, that is research need. Members of states are encouraged to establish such inventors. New inventions should be done, and to promote more new inventions, the member states are also encouraged and established, so that new inventories will take place. Research is a greatly needed to improve the agronomy of cultivated medicinal plant. If more research activities are there, more invention in medicinal plant is there, more herbal formulations are prepared to benefit the society on large scale, then naturally the cultivation of that medicinal plant is also undergoing, and it will improve the agronomy of the cultivated medicinal plant. The farmers are cultivating medicinal plant and promote the exchange of information on agriculture production. Also, it will investigate the social and environmental impact of medicinal plant and collection and cultivation. So it will improve the cultivation and collection of medicinal plant, and if a good quality healthy plant will herbal raw material is cultivated and collected, then it can export to other countries. So finally it will finally it will improve the benefits of cultivation, as well as it will helpful to increase more or earning more profit to these cultivators also. So these are the section 5 of guidelines for good agriculture and collection practices. So here the guidelines for good agriculture and cultivation practices is complete. Thank you.